around. It's that time, let's unwind. With laughter in the air and good vibes intertwined. Stories flow like the drinks under the moon's bright glow. In this podcast space, let the good times grow. Cheers to the nights we won't forget. With every word, let's raise a bet. Lost fall, and we're here to play. Sharing our laughter, night turns to day. With every sip, the stories unfold. In this circle of friends, let the joy be told.
Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast. It's y'all's new favorite up and coming one. Co-host Arkansas Dave again, and your lovely guy Dakota here. Now Dakota's got a very interesting topic for us to listen to today. So, hey Dakota, what are you gonna talk about today, buddy?
What do I always talk about, motherfucker?
Knowing you, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Nephilim.
Oh God, Nephilim. Okay. Fallen angels mixing with giants and humans and creating some type of hybrid.
You mean how the world's going to end? Yes.
Yeah, how we're all just going to die, right?
Oh no, it's happening. They're coming again. Like the Nephilim never left. So.
Okay. So let's go into this then, bud.
All right. I'm going to say this now. Don't question me. What I'm saying is 100% fact. All right. I know it.
Oh, okay.
And you can take it to the bank because I'm saying it, motherfucker. All right.
Okay, so, let me get my little tote sack and we'll cash it in.
That way we can carry all the bullshit. So, all right. Genesis 6. All right. The sons of God, which are the fallen angels, come down, lusting after the daughters of men. All right. They create the Nephilim. Genesis chapter 6 also says there were Nephilim in those days and after. Okay.
Okay.
Well, the flood was brought about because of the Nephilim. So, the whole plan of the fallen angels was they were going to come down and corrupt the bloodlines because Christ could not come from a corrupted bloodline. He had to come from a pure bloodline. Okay?
Right.
So their plan was to corrupt everything.
Uh-huh.
Spread their seed so much that there is no pure bloodline left, and then Christ couldn't come. And they almost succeeded. There was one left, one bloodline left. Noah. For he was perfect in his generations. That is what the Bible says. Does that mean he was perfect in every way?
Well, no.
Oh. Noah was an alcoholic. We know this. What did he do as soon as the ark hit land and they got off? Went and made wine and got drunk off his fucking ass. All right?
Okay. I'm going to have to go back and read this.
Yeah, very first thing he does. He gets off. Oh, cool. We're safe. Let's make some wine and have a party. Gets fucking wasted. And then God gets pissed at him for that. But God spared him because he was the last bloodline left. So when I say the Nephilim almost succeeded, the fallen angels almost succeeded, yeah, they got close. They got so close, God had to step in and be like, no. Now, Bible also says that the fallen angels taught their children their technology, their sciences. What are these sciences? Well, they taught them how to make weapons.
Okay.
They taught them how to work magic. It says that they taught all of their sciences to the Nephilim. Okay? Well, these angels, they're extra-dimensional beings. What sciences could they have? All right? Well, if they're extra-dimensional, they have to come through some way to our dimension, right?
Right.
Call that a portal.
Portal, yeah.
Okay.
Gateway, whatever
Yeah.
you call it.
Yeah. So let's say, because we know, according to the Book of Enoch, which I think is about 90% truth and 10% corruption, the the fallen angels knew. They knew the flood was coming. Why? Because God told Noah to go to Mount Hermon and tell them, "Hey, your days are numbered. Okay,
Right.
you better ship up, or you're gonna be washed away."
Right.
And they begged. They knew it was coming. So, what's to say the fallen angels didn't whisk away some of the Nephilim children to another dimension?
This is true.
It would make sense that the Nephilim could travel to another dimension because they are, as the children of angels, interdimensional beings also.
Right.
Okay? So they whisk them away, the flood hits, they bring them back. That would explain how there were Nephilim in those days and after. All right?
Okay.
Well, we know there were Nephilim after because what is a Nephilim? Describe a Nephilim. Physically describe a Nephilim.
I think every time I've heard Nephilim brought up was giants.
Yeah. Do you, by any
Normally with red
chance,
hair.
yeah, do you by any chance know a famous giant from the Bible?
Yeah, David.
David was not a giant.
Or Goliath. I'm sorry.
Goliath.
Yeah, Goliath. I'm thinking David and Goliath. Sorry.
You want to know
David.
what God, after David took over the kingdom of Israel, do you want to know what God ordered him to do?
What did he do?
Waged war.
Okay. He wages war. So
Against
who's
who?
I don't know. So I don't know the Bible like you do, so I'd have to go.
Goliath's brothers. And there is a point in the Bible, and if you look in the English translation, it'll say that this other giant, one of Goliath's brothers, brought to the battlefield a new sword. Okay?
Okay.
If you go back to the Hebrew translation, they have a word for sword. Okay? They did
Okay.
not use the word for sword. They used the word for weapon.
Okay. So what kind of weapon we talking?
I don't know. But I do know that the Bible says that it put a lot of fear into the Israelites and they started to flee at the sight of it.
They started to bleed.
Flee. Run.
Oh. Which would say that it would be some type of technological weapon that they don't know what is. And
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yep. Now, going back to the whole flood thing. Not in the Bible, but do you know any other civilization that claims to have been washed away by a flood that was highly technologically advanced?
Atlantis.
Mm-hmm. I believe that was a Nephilim civilization, a Nephilim kingdom.
Because I mean, you go what I want to say it was Pluto.
Mm-hmm. Plato.
And Plato. Sorry.
Yeah. You know, the stuff you play with as a kid and make spaghetti out of.
Yeah. He wrote about Atlantis.
Yeah. Yeah. But he wrote about it as a fact.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like he'd been there.
Yeah. Well, no. So if you look at the Legend of Atlantis as Plato wrote it, he never went there. Atlantis was destroyed thousands of years before Plato existed. And he says that. He describes Atlantis as a story that was passed to him. But it's not like this is a a cautionary tale or anything. No, he's like, hey, this is our history. He wrote it down in history books that this happened.
Now, there's been some speculation on where Atlantis might be.
Yes, I think there's a theory out there that I strongly, strongly believe is the location of Atlantis, and it's not where you would think it is.
I'm thinking the Arctic.
Nope.
What do you think?
Well, it might be in Antarctica, but the theory I strongly believe, North Africa.
Okay.
There is a formation. I don't remember what it is called. It's a mound. Like there was something there. Okay, and lidar scans show what looks like buried under the ground buildings. Okay, now nobody's allowed to dig there, but
Why is
around
somebody allowed to get there?
because it could hold historical significance to the natives in that area. It's the same reason you're not allowed to dig up Indian mounds and stuff like that.
Right, which we have in the past for artifacts and
Yes.
all that, but that's just to uncover history. So, I
But,
mean, what's the difference there to here or wherever else
well,
in the world?
nobody has really had interest in digging it up until the LiDAR scans on it, which the LiDAR scans came from. So around this mound is rings, okay?
Okay.
Raised rings, almost like walls, okay?
Which, if I remember correctly, Atlantis
Had
there's
walls.
a town in the center that's surrounded by water and walls.
Yeah, it's surrounded by water, and then there's a ring around it where people also live on that ring, and then
Right.
there's water, and then there's a ring around that, and
Okay.
people live on that ring. Okay, if you go back into Plato's story and match up the sizing of things and stuff like that, this spot matches perfect.
Hmm.
But it's in the middle of the desert in North Africa, nowhere near water.
Strange.
But we do know at one point, North Africa was underwater.
It's true.
So what's to say that that wasn't underwater in Genesis?
Yeah. That is true. And you know, you talk about Nephilims and stuff, um, and giants. So I think some of the more famous ones you hear of right now are from
Kandahar.
our church. Kandahar, yep. Red-headed giants.
Yep. 2 rows of teeth, 6 fingers, 6 toes, red-headed giants.
Yeah.
By the way, what color's your hair?
Yeah. My beard's red, I know. Well, I
You
mean,
might have
hey, I'm
Nephilim. You might
sporting coat of many colors in this thing.
you might have some Nephilim DNA in you, brother.
Hey, explain these big ass murder bins I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unnatural strength for a man my size. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Definitely would. Now, you want to know something? And I freaked my sister out with this because my nephew is redhead. And I told her, I like explain this to her. Not
Okay.
in reference to my nephew, just in conversation. And it freaked her out. So I'm not trying to freak you out. And I'll explain why later. But after the flood, God put a limit on anybody with human DNA, age limit,
Right.
120 years. You want
Okay.
to take a gander as to why he had to do that?
Guess it has something to do with the Nephilims and trying to stop the spread.
He knew the Nephilim had survived the flood. He knew some of them had escaped. Okay? But the Nephilim, being part fallen angel, they were immortal.
Okay.
The plot twist to that is because they did not have the breath of life that God gives his creations,
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't created by God, they do not have a soul.
Okay.
That's where you get the whole gingers don't have a soul thing. Okay?
Okay.
Well, here's my thing, and I've gotten into it with a lot of Christians about this. All right?
Okay.
They have a spirit, but they don't have a soul. Okay? And we know that the fallen angels, both the ones that came down with Lucifer, or the ones that rebelled with Lucifer, and the ones that came down in Genesis 6, we know that the Bible says that those are locked away until the time of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They are locked away in the abyss. They cannot come out. Well, you also have these demon-possessed people, like the demoniac in the Bible. Okay?
Okay.
Well, if the demons are fallen angels, but the fallen angels are locked away, how are they possessing people on earth?
Good question.
They're not. But somebody that is doing their bidding is the spirits of the Nephilim, the spirits of their children.
But see, yeah, that's kind of contradicting because so you're talking about possession now.
Yeah. It
That
all
goes against,
ties in.
huh?
It all ties in. I feel like that dude in the memes with the fucking board and the string and shit. Motherfucker, it all ties together.
Everybody thinks you're a freaking whack job. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
every time I
So,
bring this topic up.
um, now that goes against the Catholic uh doctrine of exorcism
It absolutely does.
because I started watching this podcast the other day. And I was telling you about it, but there's this Catholic priest that has become an exorcist over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And he does this and that. And he was telling the structure that people are not possessed by just one or
Right.
two entities, it's multiple entities.
And I agree with that. But I don't
So,
believe that they are fallen angels. I believe that they are the spirits of the Nephilim.
but he started going into like, we know names of certain demons.
Yes. The question
And
is, what is a demon?
so,
I agree
but
with
you're saying,
everything there. The
but
part
you're
I
saying,
disagree with,
but you're saying demons are locked away. So,
I'm saying the fallen angels are locked away. So if they're locked away, they can't be demons.
okay.
So then what is a demon? If it can't be a fallen angel, what is it? We know there is one fallen angel that is not locked away. Lucifer.
So I guess you're right. It would have to be spirits, but
Yeah. It's the spirits of the Nephilim. They're looking for a body to inhabit because their body died after 120 years. Because if the demons were fallen angels, here's another way of looking at it. If the demons were fallen angels, they have the ability to create their own body because we see that with Michael, with Raphael, with Gabriel, all of them.
right.
They come down and they create their own body, their own human body while they're here. So what's to say the fallen angels couldn't do that? Well, if they could do that, why would they need to possess somebody?
It's true. I can see where you're going with this. I mean, in a way, it makes sense.
Yeah. Now, I'll say this. I was joking earlier. I could be 100% wrong on all of this.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But
We'll
I
always
have
be right.
also spent years and years and years researching this shit because I find it interesting. And everything I am finding, even when I'm researching. So I looked into aliens. Okay.
Okay.
Guess what? I found tie-ins to the Nephilim.
And you want to know something? So we're talking about giants, and what you're saying, giants are Nephilims.
Yeah.
Guess what else has ancient stories? Uh, Native Americans,
Yep. Of giants.
Choctaw, Choctaw, Cherokee.
The
Uh,
Loveland.
you say Loveland?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Or Love.
Oh,
No, Lovelock. Lovelock. Sorry, Lovelock.
okay.
You know the story of Lovelock Cave?
No, no.
The natives say that there were a tribe of red-headed giants that lived in that cave that were cannibals, and they had to collapse the cave to lock the giants in.
Now, where's this at?
I want to say Nevada.
Okay. Which be
Um,
desert Southwest.
yeah, it's Southwest for sure. I want to say it's Nevada. Let me double check because I want to make sure I get my information right. Lovelock Giants. Lovelock Cave, Nevada. Yep.
So I mean, that's interesting,
But they describe them as red-headed giants.
right? So I mean,
That
that does make it. That is. It's kind of curious though. So, like anybody with red hair, does that mean we're descendants of
well, the
Nephilims or
first
not?
the first ever mention of red hair ever is in the Bible in Genesis when it's talking about the Nephilim. So I would be led to believe that that was like the creation of it. Now I've heard people also say that red hair is the mark that God put on Cain after he killed Abel.
I mean, that could be it. That could be true too.
Because if you remember, and this will tie in because I want to do an episode on old Earth theory because I'm an old Earth theorist.
Right.
Um, when Cain killed Abel, God sent him out. God banished him. Okay.
Right.
Um, Cain's first concern was, well, if I come across other people, where like they'll kill me. Okay. First off, the only people that are mentioned being created in the Bible at that time is Adam, Eve,
Eve
and their
and
children,
their kid.
Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
So, what other people is he going to come across?
Exactly.
That's why I don't
And,
think the Bible is necessarily the story of humanity. I think the Bible is the story of the Jews. Adam and Eve may have been the first people, but they were definitely the first Jews.
yeah. You know, I've told my wife this. I've even spoken to my wife's uncle about this because, especially him, he did. He went to school up in Michigan, become a pastor and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in his studies and stuff, he had to learn. I want to say it's Greek. Had to learn Hebrew and stuff like that
Yeah,
too.
the
But
languages that
I
the Bible is written in.
said again,
That's the languages that the Bible is written in.
yeah, yeah, Greek and Hebrew.
Greek and Hebrew.
Now I know Hebrew was the first language, then it was translated. I want to say into Greek, and then after that, it started being translated into other stuff too.
Well, the majority of
But
the Old Testament was originally written in Hebrew, and then a lot of especially the later parts of the New Testament, were letters to Greek cities and stuff like that, and so a lot of that is written in Greek.
right, but with the Bible, I don't think. I think there's enough there, as I've been told many times. It's a how do I put it? It's a stepping stone for us,
Yes.
something for us to learn by and try to
Mm-hmm.
live by. But it's not a complete
History.
history of everything that went on. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot
That's
that's been left out.
yeah.
Now,
Like, you
brought
don't
the
open
book.
the Bible and read a chapter about World War II, do you?
No, you
Like,
don't. But you brought the book Enoch. Now, also from what I understand, is that Enoch is an original book of the Bible, but what we have today of a Bible is what the Catholics put out.
correct.
So, and there's 5 or 7 books
Yeah.
that are supposedly not in the Bible that were originally in it to
Yeah, the
start with.
Book of Enoch, the Book of Giants, the Book of oh God, what is it? I know the Book of or the Lesser Key of Solomon. The Lesser Key of Solomon is a spell book. Don't fuck with that one. Oh God, I don't remember them all off the top of my head, but there's a bunch. I don't know if it's
Right,
5 or 6, but there's a bunch.
right. So, I think there's a lot of information that we're not privy to that the Catholics didn't want. The Catholic religion is one of the oldest religions on earth.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is back before
Catholicism
we've
originally
had
started with Christ.
studying.
Catholicism originally started with Christ.
Right. Um,
I think
we
it's
had
been corrupted
Catholics.
over, but yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, you gotta think Catholics are they were before your Baptists, your Methodists.
yeah.
I
All the
mean,
Protestant religions.
yeah. So I think that got influenced and he's kind of slowly branched off over the years. So I mean, there's a lot that's been left out, and then we go back into let's say the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
There's
A
more
lot of
books.
those, well, a lot of the Dead Sea Scrolls were apocryphal books, like the Book of Enoch was one of the ones that was in there.
Right. I mean, there's a lot more books that were supposed to be included that never got included.
Now,
From what
who wrote the Book of Enoch?
I don't know.
A lot of people say Enoch. Okay, yeah, you're 100% correct. I guarantee you it was Enoch. Okay? Who was Enoch? Well, there's Enoch that walked so closely with God that he never died. He was taken up to heaven. Okay?
Right?
And then there's Enoch, son of Seth. Or no, not Enoch, son of Seth. Enoch, son of Seth is the one that was taken up to heaven. There's Enoch, son of Seth, and Enoch, son of Cain. You
Interesting.
see where this is going. Don't you?
So if the Book of Enoch was written, there's a good possibility. Hmm,
I think there is at
that would put
least
this.
50% chance that the Book of Enoch was written from the perspective of Enoch, son of Seth, but written by Enoch, son of Cain.
Well, uh, Seth had been later in the Bible.
Seth was the third child of Adam and Eve. After Cain killed Abel and Cain was banished out, Adam and Eve had another son, Seth.
I'm really have to read up on my Bible. Really have to read up on my Bible.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting theory.
Huh?
But my question: why would they name their sons? Why? It's like, hey, you
Well,
got a
if you think
cousin
about it,
Enoch,
Seth never met Cain.
right? But
Cain
why
was
would
banished out before Seth was born. There's never a mention in the Bible that they knew each other.
I bet it was Seth's son? But that's weird.
Yeah. We know Cain had a son named Enoch. And we know Seth had a son named Enoch. Both are mentioned in the
How,
Bible.
but I don't understand. How do we know if Cain is banished? Okay, he shouldn't have any dealings with anybody,
Right.
right?
But we know that Cain had Enoch because of Tubal-Cain,
Because
who
of who?
was Tubal-Cain.
Okay, who's that?
He was part of the story of Noah. I forget exactly how he's related, but he was part of that story in the book of Enoch. And Tubal-Cain was like the grandson or great grandson or something of Cain.
Interesting. Okay.
Funny enough, Tubal-Cain, you know what he was known for?
No.
The great builder of cities. Almost sounds like he had technology that somebody else didn't.
Right.
You smelling where I'm going with this?
Yeah. It sounded like Cain's bloodline
Is
is a bloodline. Yeah.
Nephilim comes in there somewhere. I don't think Cain was a Nephilim.
No. No. Cain must have learned. But I'm wondering if Cain uh had a kid with a Nephilim,
Maybe.
or had a kid with somebody, and that kid had.
But then again, if you look at Genesis 6, that's so far down the line from Cain. So that goes into a theory about Cain. We never know Cain's fate. Cain's fate is never mentioned in the Bible. And there is a
Right.
theory out there. Not saying if I believe it or not, but if you want to see a good movie about it, it's called He Never Died. It's on Netflix. Okay?
Okay.
Plot twist, Cain never died. That's the theory.
Cain's still
Cain is
kicking,
still alive today.
which would tie into Rothschild stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other
Uh,
episode.
that movie He Never Died. It's about a vampire that's like helping people and stuff like that, and it's revealed at the end that the vampire is Cain.
Just
Mm-hmm.
okay. You know what though? I've heard that before. That
Yep,
Cain. That's where vampires come from. Is Cain.
possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's 100% possible, but I
Well, I
just don't
mean,
know. I haven't done enough research there to make a statement one way
oh,
or the other.
there's so much going into vampires and stuff. It's absolutely insane.
But again, we're getting to that point. Everything's tying together.
Like, was Vlad the Impaler part Nephilim? Was he a vampire?
Possible. Possible. He was rather tall.
Yeah, but I don't
For a
know.
man in Romania around that time period, he was notably taller than average.
Right, and had a bloodlust.
Yes.
And what do you get from bloodlust? You get
Vampirism.
vampires. Exactly.
Now, you want me to freak you out?
Oh Lord.
There's two bloodlines that are mentioned in the Book of Giants, okay? Two Nephilim bloodlines. All right?
Okay.
There's the matriarchal and the patriarchal. Okay?
Okay.
And they're called houses. Okay?
Okay.
There's the House of Fairies, which is the matriarchal side. Okay?
Mhm.
And then there is the House of Dragons. Does that name sound familiar?
Yeah. Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Khaleesi in Game of Thrones. What was she known as?
Don't get me lying.
The mother of dragons. Okay.
Okay.
Um, the first woman in the patriarchal bloodline, the bloodline of dragons. Um, the one that initially slept with the fallen angel. She was
Mm-hmm.
known by the other Nephilim as the mother of dragons.
I got to think of a few reasons why, but we don't want to get monetized.
Yeah.
Well, not monetized, but banned.
Yeah. Now, there
So,
are also descriptions of how these fallen angels bred with women.
that could be an
And
interesting story.
it was by using some form of technology. That's all I'll go into right now.
Hmm. Now, if you use a form of technology, that would probably mean that, like a Nephilim being, say, 15 foot tall and a human woman being anywhere from 4 foot nothing to
Yeah.
6 foot. Probably going to have
It
to
would make sense
use.
they would need something.
Yeah, you're talking about an artificial uh, womb to be able to kind of like cloning.
Yeah. Yep. So it's definitely trying to think of the word for it. It's we know it's artificial. It just normal biologics can't explain that. But I don't know, dude. Like I think, and this is my opinion, I think that okay, so there's an episode. I'm going to call it the lost episode, okay? Because it is an episode
Right.
that will never see the light of day.
All right.
The week before we took that hiatus, and then Derek stepped away. Me and Derek did an
Okay.
episode, okay?
Okay.
The file is extremely corrupted 15 minutes in all the way to the end, and we recorded for an hour and a half.
Interesting.
I cannot recover the file. In that, we talked about demonic possession, we talked about heaven and hell, and we talked about Judgment Day and Armageddon. Okay? At the risk of making a second lost episode, I'm going to bring that up right now. I think, based on my research, that at the end times, after the rapture, the people that are left, they're going to have a fucking hell of a time. All right?
Right.
And it's not just going to be the government overreach and the martial law and the brutality everywhere. I think the veil is going to be lifted. And I think these demons that people are seeing, these cryptids also, which I believe are part Nephilim, um, I think those things are going to be able to be seen by the average person on a daily basis. People will be walking down the street and walk right past a demon and be able to see it in its natural form. Okay? That being said, if the demons are able to be seen like that, and the fallen angels are released, just like Revelation says, why are they going to hide? They're not. They know at that point that the battle is about to begin. Okay?
Right.
Well, what do you need for a battle? You need an army.
Right.
They will begin breeding their army by any means necessary.
All right. That's an interesting theory. That's a very interesting theory.
So anybody that doesn't want to be part of that, get your shit together.
Yeah.
Because I know I say this a lot about myself. I get the feeling that I'm closer to the end than I am the beginning. I think it's true for the world, too.
Yeah.
I think we're closer to the end than we are the beginning.
Whether you go by science or you go by the Bible, I mean, we are closer to the end than we are the beginning. Because the reason I say that, in let's say we go by science, Earth's been
Yeah.
around for what, 5 billion
Motherfucker.
years
Yeah.
or
Keep
so.
talking. I just dropped my new can of soda, so keep talking.
Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. Um, but so the Earth's been around for 5 billion years. I mean, another 4 billion years, they're expecting that we're going to be swallowed up by the Andromeda galaxy.
Yeah.
So, like you said, we're closer to the end than we are the beginning. But if you go by the Bible's standpoint, we don't know exactly when God will return. Now,
Right.
He's given us
For no one knows the
kind of
time or the season.
right. He's given us kind of a thing of what's going to be happening here and there.
He
And
gave us the
sometimes,
signs.
yeah. But at the same time, I don't think all those particular signs have started.
I think some of them have.
So,
Some of them
well,
definitely have.
yeah, some
But
of them, but
another thing I try telling people is he didn't put a timeline on it. He didn't say, "Oh, once you see this sign, then you are 7 years from the end," or whatever.
right.
He didn't
Like,
put a
let's
timeline.
say,
He he just said, "Hey, these are signs that it's coming."
right. Let's say, like, there'll be war everywhere, natural disasters everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Natural disasters are part of the earth. I hate to say it, we have earthquakes every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's bad weather every day somewhere in the world, flooding. That's part of it.
Yep.
I think when we say natural disasters, I think it's going to be a massive natural disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Something
It
that's
won't
going to
be
be
a
on
flood.
a global. It's going to be global
Yep.
war.
It will
I
not
think
be a
it's going to be
flood though.
another. Right. It won't be a flood. Some people suspect it's going to be fire. Fire would be
I think.
volcanoes, asteroids, something along
And,
that line.
and let me throw this out there, okay? I agree with you. I think it's going to be fire, but reason being, in the Bible, fire is always cleansing. Fire is
Right.
always purifying. What is Armageddon supposed to do? It is supposed to cleanse and purify this world so that it can become a sanctuary again, a heaven, for lack of a
Right.
better term. Supposed to
Now,
get rid of all the sin.
right. Let me go into another aspect of there'll be war everywhere. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be on a global scale. I
Hmm?
think that's what we call a world war.
Yep.
Will that be World War III or World War VI? We do not know.
Yep. For no one knows the time or the season.
Exactly. So, um, everybody always says, prepare yourself. He's coming back. He's coming back. They've been preaching that same line for 2,000 plus years.
And I think
Okay.
it's a good line. I think it's a good line because you don't know when.
Right. I
So you
agree.
should always be prepared.
Right. But,
Don't want to be caught
like,
with
for
your
me,
pants down.
exactly. But, like, for me, when I hear that all the time, it's like, guys, just drop it. You
Yeah.
told us. We know about it. We don't need to be reminded this once a month or something, or once a week, whatever. It's
Yeah.
it's too often of a thing within the church or people in general that are extremely uh, religious.
Yeah.
At least for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe in God. I believe that man does some weird shit for no reason sometimes. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I know he's got a reason for what he does. Whether
My
if
only
good,
my only fear is whenever I get there and I am judged, I sure fucking hope God has a sense of humor.
I do too. Don't get me wrong, dude. I've said some really fucked up things in my time. Me and you
Because
in
if he
general.
doesn't, I'm screwed.
Oh yeah, yeah. I agree with you on that. Man, I'm the same way. I got some really dark humor.
Yeah,
Some really dark humor
it's
from
the
time to time.
autism.
Yeah. But at the same time, the man created me to look at the world in a different aspect than anybody else.
Yeah.
We're not all carbon copies. That would make
Yep.
the world just
Boring.
boring
Well, I mean, why did God create humans?
to make it in his image. But
No. God
okay, go ahead.
God created humans because the angels worshipped and loved God, not because they wanted to, but because God didn't give them the free will to choose. Well, if let's use you and your wife for example. If your wife was forced to love you, is that truly love?
No, it's not.
No. He wanted a being that loved and worshipped him because that being wanted to. So he created us in his image. He gave us everything we needed. And then he added in free will.
Right. I'd be kind of like, no, I'm gonna take a shit on the Muslim faith right
Yeah.
here.
I do it
I
all the
really
time.
don't care. Um, but you say forced to love, and you brought my wife Muslim faith, quite often or not, whether it be in Yemen, Iraq, Pakistan, a lot in the Middle East,
Mm-hmm.
is that they take child brides.
Yep.
Those brides are forced to love a person that they have no idea what love is.
And that right there is why I will always take a shit on Muslims. Okay?
Right.
Is
So,
because you're
and I've
following a
talked,
man that raped a fucking 9-year-old
yeah,
and
exactly.
bragged about it. Fuck you and fuck your religion.
Right. So, I think Muslims in general,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that what they follow is what God intended to be followed. I think I think the Muslim religion was created probably by the devil himself. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd have to sit here and go through a whole spill why I think that. But some of it
Well,
would
okay.
be good.
Do you know where the Muslim religion started?
Allah would be part of it.
No. So, you know the story of Abraham?
It's been a long time on that. So go for it.
Okay. So Abraham and his wife Sarah were promised, or Sarai, depending on if you go by the original Hebrew uh, naming. Abraham and Sarah, they were promised so many children that they would number like the stars. Okay.
Okay.
Well, Sarah was getting up there in years, and she knew that she wouldn't be able to have children pretty soon. Okay. She lost her faith. She thought that
Okay.
it would be impossible for God to do that. That's her first mistake. So she told Abraham to sleep with his servant girl. Okay. And create a son that way. Okay?
Okay,
And so
which
he
would
did.
be
And
out of wedlock.
yeah, so he did. And Ishmael was born. Okay?
Okay.
God saw that and was like, the fuck are you doing? Like, I told you I'm going to do this. And you're impatient. And so you decide to try to do it yourself. You want to play God? Okay, fuck you. So he gives Abraham and Sarah their son, Isaac. Okay?
Okay.
Well, then infighting started between Ishmael and Isaac. And so God sent Ishmael and his mother out. He told them, leave. But it wasn't their fault. They're not the ones that went against God.
Right.
So he promised them that he would not only take care of them and protect them, but he would also make them a great power within the world. And that is where the Muslim religion started. That is where Islam began.
Is you saying with Ishmael?
Ishmael. Yep. Ishmael and his mother were the first Muslims.
So you're saying God created?
If you go by what the Muslims believe, that is where their religion started.
Let's say I don't think God would create that religion in general, because that's like saying God said, "Kill anybody that stands against him." I don't think.
Agreed.
I
I
don't
don't
think the
think
man
God
would do that.
would either. I don't think so either. I think God created it and then somebody, hint hint, came through and corrupted it. If you look back at ancient Muslims and modern Muslims, like pre-Muhammad Muslims and post-Muhammad Muslims, okay?
Yeah.
That is almost an entirely different religion. Okay?
Okay.
Muhammad talks about meeting with something in a cave and that thing telling him to go out and be a prophet. I think Muhammad met with Satan, and Satan used Muhammad to corrupt that religion. We know he tried to do it to Jesus. He took Jesus out into the desert and tempted him for 40 days. The difference is Jesus, being fully man and fully God at the same time, was able to resist. Muhammad, just
Right.
being fully man, could not.
That is. It's interesting.
Because if you look
It's an
back at
interesting.
Islam before Muhammad, it is almost copy and paste Judaism.
Well, here's a nice little twist for you. Now I can't. Now this is something I just thought of top of my head, but it's back to what we were talking about earlier. Cain.
Mm-hmm.
You said that there was speculation that Cain never died.
Yeah,
What if it was Cain?
possible. We know Cain hated God after he got banished. So
Exactly.
it's completely
So
possible.
there's another aspect of it. Now, I don't know how you would even prove that, but
I don't think you can. That's just my theory on it. Because, like I said,
yeah,
if you look at pre Muhammad Islam, the only difference between pre Muhammad Islam and Judaism is pre Muhammad Islam says that it started with Ishmael.
right.
Judaism says it started with Adam and Eve. Judaism goes back farther.
Right.
But
I agree with you.
other than that, they believed the same things. They did the same things. It was the same religion. And then Muhammad came and flipped it all over.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna leave it the starting of it open on my end on that.
Yeah.
Now it could have started out as evil, like I think it was. Could be wrong. You sounded
Yeah.
more up to date on it than I am. But I
I've
will
just done a lot of
say,
research because I have free time.
got more free time than I got, buddy.
Yeah.
Um, but but I will say, going with Muhammad is that with Muhammad coming in, I will say that if it wasn't corrupted at the first, it's going to be corrupted at Muhammad. And that's just where it's going to be led to.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous. That whole religion, like, it's bad.
Muhammad was the one that originally said, hunt down the Jews and kill them. That did not come from anybody until Muhammad came along. So, but I think it's about time to wrap it. We can do more on this topic some other time, but I want to do a little experiment before we do. All right?
I don't want
doing
to have
research.
a lost file, man.
No, I've been doing some research. We're trying to grow this thing, right?
Right.
According to my research, there's certain keywords that the algorithm will then push if it senses you saying those words in an episode.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to rattle off a few of them. All right.
Okay.
And we'll just see what happens. I'm just going to say those words. So,
right.
Mortgage, 401k, starting a new business, buying a home, investment, stocks, bonds. I don't remember the rest, but we'll call that good. That should get the algorithm ticking.
Okay.
I'm going to try it. We'll see. If this episode blows up, we know what happened.
All right, buddy. Hey, till next
All right,
time.
brother.
Later.
Later, bro.
Underneath the stars, we shared a sweet embrace. Your laughter ringing clear in this quiet place. With the sound of the steel guitar playing soft and slow. In a world where time stands still, I hope you always know. Hold me close, let the music play. So I'll sing here beneath the midnight sky. With the pedals still, it's you and I. In this country dream, forever we'll stay. With you in my heart, love will light our way. Memories of dancing in the moonlight glow. Your arms wrapped around me like a warm, gentle flow. With every note that's played, my heart starts to soar. In this 90s country love, I couldn't ask for more. Love's a song that never fades, so I'll sing here beneath the midnight sky. With the pedals still, it's you and I. In this country dream, forever So take my hand and never let go. In this country, love will always grow. So I'll sing to you beneath the midnight sky, with the petals still, it's you and I. In this country dream, forever we'll stay. With you in my heart, love will light our way. So take my hand and never let go. In this country, love will always grow.